Shut your damn mouth. Is that original Scream or Scream 2?
It's Scream 2, strangely. They didn't even have Scream 1. It wasn't even an option, but Scream 2 is an option.
Maybe I can get the rights to Sarah Michelle Gellar's face or Drew Barrymore's.
Yeah, I was looking for the Sarah Michelle Gellar because there's a version of this T-shirt where Sarah Michelle Gellar is on here, but not this one. This one has Jada Pinkett instead, so still good. But I wanted the Sarah Michelle.
Okay, I'm just gonna make them then, and I'm gonna send it. Now, well, no, I want one. I was like, but I'm very picky about the design, so I think I'm gonna make this like glorious ode to
Scream, to Nev.
Yeah, to Nev Campbell. Like, I mean, Sidney Prescott is not my favorite character, I should say. But
okay.
like, there's just so many others. Do you know what? She was my favorite. Who am I kidding? I can't deny.
I am. Oh, sorry. I just. What are we doing our next episode on?
Should we rank the Scream films? Are any of them Marvel adjacent? Halle Berry played Catwoman.
I don't know if I can handle a Halle Berry tier list. Catwoman and fucking Gothica and like just X-Men 3 with that soccer mom haircut. Oh God. What about? Well, there's only 4 Scream films. That's kind of hard to do a tier list off of. You need like 8 something, like around 8 things to rank. Let's think.
Let me see. Let me search the tiered list and see if anyone has made anything recently. I wonder if you can roll like a random.
What about the X-Men films?
Ooh, okay.
I'm looking at Tier Maker right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to do this though. Like, somebody already made the list. Do I just send you the link?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Drop it in chat. I'll open it up and then I'll share.
But we have to make haste a little bit though. I can't totally.
That's fine. We'll be quick about it. Get in, get out.
I just don't know if you can grab off that link I sent you though. They look like they're stuck in their things, but maybe you know better.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. Oh, yeah, this is somebody else's. I want to create.
Oh, okay.
Ranking. Here you go. Create your own ranking. Aha, okay. Let me just share screen with you. I can't believe you haven't done this yet.
Me too, actually. It's kind of weird.
Okay, so share screen. Let me know if you got it.
The last one took like 10 seconds, so I'm going to wait.
Okay. Happens. Look at the tiers. It's like ridiculous. Give to Disney because they're horrible. Ooh, this tier list maker. Let's see. It's all connected to at Neor Demon. She's a shady bitch. So we've decided to give to you.
A gift.
Tier list, yes, a total gift. We're just going to use a tier list that someone else has made. Thank you at Neor Demon for creating this little list for us. We're just going to jump right into it because baby doesn't have a lot of time. Babies don't have a lot of time, and there's a lot to unpack with these films. So we're just going to get right into it. Welcome to the Full Volume Podcast. I am GI Jolie.
And I am Harvey Brent.
And there's going to be a lot of tears today. So, shall we?
We like talking to you about garbage. And so we're going to... Oh, I'm going to switch my my speakers there. So we're going to talk to you today about the Fox X-Men films. And we're going to do a little tier list ranking those as we wait for Hawkeye to come out next week. There's a lot of feelings here. There's a lot of people that hate these X-Men films. There's a lot of people that hate some of these X-Men films. There's a lot of people that love all of these X-Men films. If you fall in that last category, you are canceled. because some of these are horrible. Granted, there are a few bad ones, or a few good ones. I mean, there's some that I like. But in general, the Fox universe will not be kindly remembered. It will be remembered for taking the best part of the X-Men films, the heart and soul, and or the comics rather, and just kind of making it fit their budget, making it fit their backstage politics, making it fit their patriarchal, heterosexual, male fantasy rescue fantasy. So there's a lot going on, a lot that I don't like, a lot that I do like. But let's unpack it and see where these X-Men films fall.
Okay, cool. I'm going to take out some of these tiers because there's just too much room for error.
Way too much room for error.
Yeah, because
this is yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Okay. Yeah, so you got the list. You get the list there.
Well, number one, coming out in 2000, the X-Men film that started it all, X-Men.
Is it this one here? Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. So
okay.
We have to, as much as I hate some of these movies, there's some that I'm trying to give these a fair shake, and I'm sure you would agree. X-Men had the dubious task of being basically the second major comic book film. I mean, I guess you can make the argument that the Michael Keaton Batman films were, maybe the first step into serious comic book films. And then Blade came out in the mid 90s, and then X-Men came out in 2000. And this was like probably the first real attempt at a superhero film. This is what it gets right. The casting is on point. The casting is good. We got Professor X. We have Patrick Stewart playing Professor X. We have Ian McKellen playing Magneto. Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine in a role that should not have worked, but it worked. And that is the most monkey paw of situations because it was a great success, but it also spawned such Wolverine-centric X-Men films going forward that it really was a detriment to the films. Anyways, I digress. The story is actually not too bad, given, this film really is about, humans versus mutants, the us versus them allegory, minorities versus majorities. And really what it does is it takes this idea of mutants and it makes them outcasts of society. And the plot of the film by the villain Magneto is to turn humans into mutants so that they know the pain of being ostracized and of being subjugated against. Actually not a bad story. It's also an original story that didn't really have any ground in the comics at the time. The problems lie with the fact that the film plays it way too safe. The action is poor. It's very 2000s wire work. Halle Berry is Storm, enough said. Anna Paquin is Rogue, enough said. And Rogue is just a plot device in this film, by the way, which is a whole other thing. So the film is, I think it's a good first attempt, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I would put it in good.
I agree. Yeah. And actually, now that I think about it, we might be able to get rid of that very good tier because that might be a little redundant.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be splitting hairs of what a good X-Men film is. It's not going to be.
Let me tell you, no one's going to be there.
So, yeah. But I think, you know what I mean? It plays it safe. It introduces some characters, in a decent way, but everybody's played safe, and maybe that's what we needed at the time to build a foundation, but it is what it is. And I think it falls there right in the middle of the pack. Yeah.
And this is the first time that you get, maybe there's going to be a sequel. Is there going to be an X2? And it didn't just happen the next year.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
There was some mystery.
There was some mystery. There was some thought put into it. And then that leads us to 2003, X2, X-Men United, which is the third picture there. Okay, so as critical as I was at the top of this podcast, I actually think X2 is a pretty good film. I think it's better than X-Men. Oh yeah, we know it's at least better than X-Men. The writing is much better. The characters are a little more fleshed out, with the exception of Cyclops, played by James Marsden, who we did rank as this was his top film of all time because he had a he had a small but pivotal role at the end where he had a meltdown over Jean's death. So we gave him big points for that. That was supposed to be a big turning point for the character of Cyclops. But in general, this film is elevated in every way. The action scenes are better. The writing is better. The
whole world feels bigger.
Yeah, it really truly is an amped up sequel. The set piece of the X-Jet trying to outrun the fighter pilots and Storm bringing down all the tornadoes was super cool at the time. And they gave us foreshadowing with Jean Grey turning into the Phoenix. I think this is the opening with Nightcrawler. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah. How did I forget about Nightcrawler? Just the breakout mutant of this film.
And then a very worthy human antagonist played by Brian Cox. He plays William Stryker. Mm-hmm. I think this is a great, but possibly at the time, this was probably the best comic book film that had ever come out. In 2003, this was the best comic book film that had come out. Obviously, there's been way more since that are better, and it's still. I will say maybe the point that keeps it from being epic is it's still way too Wolverine centric. But at this point, they knew Wolverine made the money, and that's why Fox really latched on to Hugh Jackman and really made him, instead of a team dynamic in the X-Men films, they really focused it on Wolverine, and then Storm and Nightcrawler and Iceman and Rogue and Jean were all his sidekicks.
Yeah, literally everybody's character arc revolved around Wolverine's.
Yeah, and that's just such a very pervasive patriarchal male attitude at the time, is to appease to the male, which we do not stand. But everything else about this movie is good. So I think it might be a great TBH.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't hate that.
You don't hate that?
No, I don't hate that. And I'm looking at the list, while we're talking and spinning our wheels, I'm looking at the list of what's left, and I was like, no, it is a great film.
Well, which brings us to the next film, 2006, X-Men: The Last Stand. Truly something that's sad and completely hollow and riddled with studio interference. Giving us so many iconic characters, but clearly destroying them all and giving them no justice. No justice for Archangel. No justice for Kitty Pryde. No justice for Colossus. Or, the only one I think they kind of got off scot-free on is Beast. This is bad, but maybe even give to Disney because they are horrible. This film creates so many cardinal sins. It kills Cyclops within the first 20 minutes because James Marsden was filming a different film, and they had to get it out for Memorial Day weekend in 2006. They turned Jean Grey's Dark Phoenix into a zombified version of herself, just a silent version of herself. The whole explanation of how she became Dark Phoenix is terrible. Killing off Xavier in the end of the second act. Wow. Everything about this is hurtful. The way that Wolverine leads the team, it should have been Storm. I guess they kind of hinted at Storm leading the team, but this is such a bastardized version of what this film could have been. I can't really think of anything that I like about this film, except maybe the fact that they teased Sentinels in the opening action scene in the Danger Room.
That Danger Room scene was good.
Yes, that's the only. And you know what? Rogue getting the cure, Mystique getting cured, Magneto getting the cure. It's a bad film, Jolie.
Yeah, I don't love it. The other thing that was really great about this film, that, like you said, they just ripped to shreds, was that we get Archangel or Angel, and that was it. The Angel, yeah.
But even then, they didn't do him justice.
No, it was terrible. We got him for, they just wasted it. And like you said too, Storm. In the press, anything that they ever talked about was how Storm doesn't speak, and then she finally does all kinds of speaking in X3. And
it's noise.
Noise.
It's noise.
Yeah. Oh, I relive in horror the scene where Wolverine is just trying to get to Jean. His skin is falling apart and his body is falling. No,
you're right. I'm shaking my head in disapproval.
Oh, gross. So terrible. I just can't. And then again, studio interference. Oh, people love Nightcrawler, so they gave Nightcrawler all kinds of shit to do, but he was just like a workhorse.
He wasn't in X-Men 3.
Was he not?
No.
Oh, I'm misremembering. And this also speaks to the rewatchability of that fucking movie.
It's so you're probably confusing him with Beast, to be honest, because he's the other blue guy. You could mistake them because they look the same.
Moving on. I don't want to spend too much time on her. Give her to Disney.
Give her to Disney.
Yeah.
Speaking of giving to Disney, 2009's prequel film, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Right in the middle there. Right in the middle.
Ooh, this is the one that leaked.
This is the one that I actually remember watching the leaked version with all like the ping pong balls and the green screen and everything. So this one also is a piece of crap. The saving grace of this film is that it does introduce us to Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but then ends up bastardizing him completely in the final act. It also gives us Taylor Kitsch's Gambit, which I don't hate. I thought he could have had potential to be good, but they squandered it.
Yeah, so many people hated Taylor Kitsch's Gambit, but I loved it. I liked it.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we're Canadian and like he's Canadian and we were just kind of like sticking up for that. But,
yeah, sure. He's got sociopathic, dead in the eyes vibes when he acts, but who is Gambit really?
Yeah, really. This one's not good. I'd say bad. I'd say bad.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely not X3 bad.
Nothing ever is.
I mean, Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. Weird choice, but not horrible.
You mean Liev Schreiber? Liev Schreiber?
Yes.
Where is he? There he is.
Is he not on that one? Yeah, there he is. Yeah. Oh, okay. Can I tell you, biggest crush on him since Scream 2? Jesus. Oh, such a daddy type.
That is a man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the only man we sexually harass here on this podcast is Evan Peters, so we should move on.
We should. Our next film is 2011, right at the end there, X-Men First Class, which this is a good film.
Yeah.
This is everybody thought it was going to be absolute garbage because, well, look at the two films that came before it. But X-Men First Class is directed by Matthew Vaughn, has a sleek 1960s direction to it, which is amazing. The cinematography, the curves, the cleanliness, the roundness of the environments, very sleek. Incredible origin story between Professor X and Magneto, played by James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. They lucked out and got Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique before she got huge. This is actually a shockingly solid film.
Yes. The only thing about it is I thought the makeup was a little weird. It made
the Mystique makeup is poor and the Beast makeup is poor.
Yeah, and even January Jones's makeup makes her look old.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know why that's the thing.
I would still call this one epic.
It is. I think it deserves to be epic on alone based on the fact that it was facing a terrible track record. It had a small budget, and they made lemonade out of lemons with this because it is truly a triumph. The writing is great. The direction is great. The way that it just kind of not retold, but they were kind of able to give a lot more backstory to, how Xavier got paralyzed and, the beginning of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. I think First Class is a solid film.
Yeah. I mean, the story between Mystique and him may not be true or may not be comic canon. Maybe it is. I didn't read a lot of X-Men.
It's not.
Yeah, but it still works, and it still creates a world where you care about these characters. It creates a relationship that you care about, and I just have to applaud it.
Also, shout out to using lesser-known villains like Riptide and Azazel. The OG Nightcrawler, Azazel, so good.
Oh, it was just a movie. I remember leaving the theater and thinking, Thank God for Matthew Vaughn.
He turned this franchise around because if this was a bomb, the X-Men franchise would have been dead.
Yeah.
This would have
And
been the third death blow to the franchise.
yeah, and like how do you have a movie with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender it's bad. This was not bad. This was
No.
epic. Mm-hmm.
It gets points for having momentum not on its side. Okay, so moving on, we have 2013, The Wolverine. This is Wolverine's trip to Japan. That's the second one there.
There we go.
This one, so again, this one has the right to be Wolverine centric because it is a film about him. I don't hold it against him like I do in the X-Men films where they're also about him. This film, I think, has pretty good writing, especially the first two acts. You're losing me in the third act where Silver Samurai is kind of a robot and, not for me. But I think this tells a really good origin story of Wolverine's time as a soldier, and it like really plays in the whole the Japanese Ronin mythology of a soldier, and like the point of a soldier is to die one day, and Wolverine can't die. There's actually some really nice mythology in here. I love the light connective tissue to the other X-Men films where they use Famke Janssen, our girl Famke, as a kind of like a Ghost of Christmas Past scenario, because this film plays both in after X-Men 3 and way before X-Men Origins Wolverine. So it's both a prequel and a light sequel. And it's Wolverine dealing with the guilt of killing Jean. And so she shows up as the Ghost of Christmas Past to kind of torment him, but also encourage him and just kind of mess with him, or at least his vision of her. And it's the Japan imagery is great. I don't think it's a. Do you think it's a? It could be a great tier. It's the first two acts are solid, but the third act definitely kind of loses me a little bit. But maybe if it's great, it's definitely worse than X2, and if it's good, it's better than X-Men. Yeah,
I think right here in the good section. Mm-hmm.
What do you have to? Do you have any remnant thoughts about that one from your?
I just thought, wow.
Wow.
It lost me in the third act. That was right around the time when the Comic Book Syndicate was doing a lot of comics reporting. So we were getting fed a lot of on-screen like illegal leaks. And someone had leaked to me the entire snow-covered set in Japan. And I was just like, oh boy, they are going full comic book. Mm-hmm. And I let that sort of shape my vision of what Wolverine was until I saw it. And then I saw it and I was like, is it Silver Fox? Not Hugh Jackman, the actual woman he falls in love with, the indigenous character.
Oh God, what's her name? It's not Yukio. That's gonna bother me.
Am I wrong? Is there a woman in the woods, or was that X-Men Origins?
He falls in love with Silver Fox in X-Men Origins, but you would forgive us for not mentioning it because it was such a small piece of plot. It is it Yukio? Hold on. So. Oh, it's Mariko. It's Mariko. Okay. He falls in love with Mariko, but Yukio is another mutant, like his basically his Jubilee or his Rogue. It's a mutant with precognitive abilities. She can kind of predict the future. She was awesome.
Mm-hmm. I agree with where it sits. It was a better film than X-Men. Just because it wasn't like 50 character driven. It was one character driven, and they only sort of hit us over the head again, but with like minor Wolverine plot points, a la Ben Parker dying all the time. But it still lost, quote, the plot towards the end, where it just like it got boring.
Totally.
But it didn't totally fall off. So I would put it in the good category because it does not deserve to be in the bad category.
Not with Origins, no.
No. Okay.
Next film we have at the very end there, X-Men Days of Future Past.
Boy.
This is an ambitious one, and I think this one actually, the X-Men films are shockingly ahead of their time in the sense that, in a meta sense, that they really were the first people to try a connected universe. Between like connecting them to X-Men Origins Wolverine, and having all this connective tissue. And they were also the first film to kind of play with time travel in a comic book film. This film combined the old cast of the original trilogy with the new cast from First Class. Great writing, great premise, great use of your cast and rebooting. Fantastic idea for whoever thought of that. I think this is a really strong contribution, actually. As much as I despise Bryan Singer, the writing's good. My only gripe really is that it should have been Kitty Pryde that went back in time, like the comics in Days of Future Past, where for the story of you that are not familiar, but you probably should be if you're listening, is that Days of Future Past is a world where the Sentinels have taken over and hunted and exterminated basically all mutant life on Earth. And there's very few mutants surviving. There's only a handful of them, and they're constantly on the run from the Sentinels. They decide the only way they can change their future is to go back into the past and prevent the Sentinels from a autonomous takeover. Very T2 Judgment Day, but this came first. T2 was based on the comic of this. I have to say, this one is probably epic.
Yeah, I remember seeing it and going, what the... And then remembering that it was based on Days of Future Past with Kitty Pryde, and that's why. Again, are they? They're catering to the Wolverine loving masses, and they sent Wolverine back in time.
Yes, which is annoying.
That really made me angry.
And they tried to make it work within the context and the rules established in the Fox X-Men universe, but it rubs me the wrong way as a comic book fan. But this is a good film. The action is good. The acting is good. The casting is great. Or sorry, I think it's better than good. I think it's better than great, actually. I think it's better than X-Men 2, rather. I don't know if it's epic, but it's either there or one up. But I just don't know where. Yeah, about there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's epic, just because this is the first time that they truly were trying to bring us comics continuity, and they like rewrote it in a way that angered me. That didn't make sense. And even to somebody who didn't read comics, like why would it be Wolverine?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's the only frustrating part, but it's actually a very good film. And this one is interesting because it has a rogue cut in the red there. So there's a significantly different version of this film where Anna Paquin's Rogue plays a very big part in the film. In the future, so with the future cast, the original trilogy cast that are in the future and not the prequel cast, they go on a side mission to rescue Rogue from the X Mansion, because the X Mansion is where all these experiments are done on mutants, and they're using Rogue's DNA to implement into Sentinels so that Sentinels can steal powers from mutants that they're fighting. So I actually like the concept better in the Rogue cut, because it shouldn't have been Mystique. Like, they used Mystique as the reason why Sentinels can adapt to mutants, but really it should have been Rogue, because Rogue adapts powers. Mystique only adapts shape, honey. The only complaint about the Rogue cut is that it feels a little long, but I appreciate the cut, and so maybe it stays in great. Yeah,
we appreciate the cut and the length.
Oops. Okay. Next we have 2016 Deadpool 1.
Ooh.
Done. No need to explain. Boop.
Yep. Sorry. Right there.
Way to save the Fox X-Men universe. Way to bring it meta. Way to save Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Way to just like undermine all the crap in the green and blue tier there. I don't think I need to say anything about this one. I think there's no explanation needed. If you think Deadpool is not an epic film, you're probably a charlatan. You're a toxic person.
Yep, you're ridiculous. This film has everything. Slow motion style, Zack Snyder sniping, which is hilarious. I can't like, just meta scenes where he like talks about his DC career. Like, it's hilarious. It's everything. It's everything.
It's so good. And it makes me almost forgive. Story. It makes me forgive the transgressions like in X-Men Origins Wolverine, because it's like, oh, all of a sudden it means nothing. Thank you, Deadpool.
Yep. That was terrible. Okay.
So
Right.
then we have X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay. So this is
Okay.
where we start to, the cracks start to show, I would say.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm. Oh,
unfortunately, Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy can't save this one. Um, this is another film like X-Men 3 where they introduce so many epic characters. Like Psylocke finally has a legit role, Archangel's in it. They bring young versions of Jean, Storm, and Cyclops. They have Nightcrawler in it. This film, in theory, should have worked. And the
mhm.
funny thing is, Fox actually screened this film to critics 3 weeks before its release because they were so confident that they had a winner on their hand. And it's just like, oh, sweetie, no, this is not effective storytelling. What is this? What is this green screen Egypt you're filming at too? Like, really? That's Montreal. That's Vieux-Port. I can see it in the background. Like, this is not okay. The effects are bad. The story is not great. And again, they're constantly giving me at this point now, how many Xavier and Magneto films have we had? But now we're constantly having Xavier and Magneto's ideologies still to this day. It's like, just get over it and fuck each other already.
Yes,
Um,
please.
this is not a good one.
No,
I
it's
I think
not.
it's better than Origins, but that's not saying much.
No, and it's such a waste of somebody who became gigantic Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. Oh my God, they squandered and that costume for Apocalypse where he looked like Ivan Ooze.
Oh,
Come on.
were we ever going to give you an Ivan Ooze? We just did. Okay,
The only props
so
it gets is I actually quite like Psylocke's costume.
yes. Oh,
That's it.
so mhm. Otherwise, mostly terrible. Okay,
Bad.
good, bad.
I don't think it's good. Do you think it's good?
Actually, okay, yeah, it's bad.
It's
You're
not
right. I tried to watch it again for a second time, and I was like, I didn't even make it through. It was
good.
so horrifying.
Night night.
Yeah, barely watchable. Anyway, sorry.
Next
Not sorry.
we have Logan next.
Ooh, old man Logan, based on.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one.
Okay, so this is the Wolverine movie that we've all been waiting for. It is loosely based on the events of Old Man Logan. And it is, again, just a Wolverine centric film, which it is true. It is what the masses wanted, but it's also what the comic book masses wanted too.
Yeah.
It was such a good story. It was like watching a Western. It had all the beats of a Western, and
Totally.
all the trouble of a Clint Eastwood type cowboy. And I would, and again, another savior for the franchise in Foxland. I would put it. I would say that it was better than X-Men First Class, but not as good as Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. The acting is great. Wolverine finally gets his ending as a soldier. You know, he finally gets to die, which he's wanted to do for years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a perfect chef's kiss to this character who he's played for
Yes.
17 years. Um, yeah,
And
I agree. It's
wouldn't
epic.
you know? Yeah, wouldn't you know? He finally finds love, and it's familial love, and he has a hard time going away because now suddenly he is the caretaker to this small girl. But that's the heartbreak at the crux of the film. But anyway, I would say epic for sure. One of my faves.
Epic.
Yeah,
A real
There.
tearjerker. Next we have Deadpool 2. I'm gonna go and say it. I like Deadpool 2. I don't think it's as good as Deadpool 1 though, but I like it.
No, yeah, I agree with you. It has all the beats, all the same beats as Deadpool. They offer more characters, so we get Cable, and that's oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
what's his name?
Josh Brolin, Thanos.
Josh Brolin as Cable, which is confusing. And then we also get Zazie Beetz as Domino.
As Domino, yeah.
Jesus Christ. On a scale of 1 to 1-2, is Jolie a lesbian? I would put her at a would 100% swerve. Like, cheapers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the character design. Do you know what? The character design alone for Domino makes this a great film.
Yeah, no, it's good and it's funny as hell. Um, I don't know how I feel about the use of Juggernaut in this way. It felt very un-Juggernaut, which is shockingly irresponsible for the Deadpool sub-franchise because they, as funny as it is, they tend to treat their characters with more respect. But the Juggernaut felt poor.
You're right.
But I think it's a good, like, I think it's more than good. I think it's like in the great tier, to be honest. But I just don't think it's as good as Deadpool 1.
No, but it's definitely better than X-Men.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
It sits around there.
All right. Ooh. Here
Oh, great.
go.
We have Dark Phoenix.
Mm,
Cool.
You
Well,
can't even give this to Disney.
because they
Well,
wouldn't
do you know
release
what?
it.
Yeah, well, one, I don't want to give Dark Phoenix to Disney because I don't want another Dark Phoenix story.
Yes.
I just want, am I Team Emma? Maybe I am. But I'm Team Jean Grey as like a background character.
Yeah, they've clearly proven twice now that they can't do Dark Phoenix. And there's so much behind the scenes drama with this film, like just so much, and it sadly bled into the finished product. It's not a good film.
No.
I will say though, it doesn't transgress as bad as X-Men 3, The Last Stand, but it plays it safe because it knows it's fucked. So everything's very small scale, and like I would say it's better than The Last Stand, but it's bottom tier for sure.
Oh yeah. Like the dialogue was, do you know what? I remember being in the theater and going, oh, this is actually a good movie. And then just like Fantastic Four,
Ugh.
oh, She Who Shall Not Be Named. Just like that movie, it immediately like took a turn and was utterly terrible.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
let's leave it there.
Yeah, okay. Oh, speaking of terrible.
The New Mutants.
Truly, we should have reviewed this one, or in the chronology, it would have been up higher. But here is the thing. It kept getting pushed back and back and back and back until no one gave a shit about it anymore.
3
and then
years.
when it came out and Macy Williams was a gigantic human woman instead of a small mewling child, the only real thing it did was let Anya Taylor-Joy know, or let the world know that Anya Taylor-Joy can do a Russian accent. That's it.
So give to Disney?
Do you know what? Actually, yeah.
Keep it, Disney.
Keep it, Disney. Have
Keep
it. These are characters that, having been reading Spider-Man on the Spider-Cast, I love Cannonball. He's hilarious. And I'm just getting to know those characters because they cross over so often. But like watching this movie was fucking painful.
Yeah, I agree.
It's terrible. Okay. Well, that concludes our X-Men Fox tiered list. It would be terrible if we didn't address the elephant in the room. Harvey Brent's haircut.
Oh.
She's not a blonde, naturally.
I shaved it all off. I'm doing my Sharon Stone shaved face, or my Anne Hathaway. And Les Mis. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of patchy in Les Mis, though. But I feel like when you're an prostitute in the 1800s, you really only have access to a straight razor. So
it is what it is.
Yeah. It looks cute. This
is the thing though. It's very gray and it's maybe not, I'm not ready for that yet. So I'm going to grow it back out so I don't notice the gray as much, but it's very gray. So do with that what you will, but this is a I did it, and we're not going to do it again for a little while until I've accepted my fate.
Okay. Well, if you love it, if you hate it, if you have suggestions, send them all to us at fullvolumepod@gmail.com. You can listen to this podcast and all of our other Comic Book Syndicate podcasts on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, pretty much wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Just search the Comic Book Network or Full Volume Pod. You can also watch our beautiful faces talking about nonsense and trash weekly, every Sunday on www.comicbooksyndicate.com and on our YouTube channel where we drop the video. Comic Book Syndicate is the username. We are going to be doing Hawkeye very soon. It could get tense in here. So
Get weird.
I feel like it's gonna get full weird. No shirts off though, but maybe.
Maybe.
We definitely aren't going to parlay our podcasting careers into rock music careers, Jeremy Renner, but we'll explore that too. It doesn't hurt to ever try. Until next time. Wait, no. You have been Harvey Brent.
You've been GI Jolie.
And until next time, keep it loud.
Keep it at full volume. Bye-bye.